Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing great today. Hope you're off to a great week. I'm believing with you and standing with you that this is going to be a phenomenal week in the Lord. And I'm so glad that we're together today. Got Pastor Val Treese with me today.
Good to be here.
Pastor, we're going to have a great time. Thanks for joining me. We're going to be talking about overcoming in adversity.
Yes.
And if there ever was a time that people are in a strain, in a difficult moment, I believe it's right now.
It is now, for sure.
But the fact is, we can overcome, can't we?
We do overcome.
That's what the Word
It's
says.
already overcome. We just have to know it.
Yeah. You know, one thing, I want you to stay with us all week long, because every day we're going to take a little bit different segment of how to overcome through adversity. Let me define a couple things for you so that you'll know exactly what we are talking about. You know, the word adversity just simply means difficulties or misfortune. And I don't know of anybody that's not in some measure of difficulty. And when I say that, it may not be such close personally, but just because of the global pandemic and everything that we're dealing with, from quarantining to social distancing to job situations, the political fronts, all of these things are only added to some things that people are dealing with.
Well, we know
personally.
the difficulty of the heart and mind. It's probably the greater difficulty that any of us face. Well, there are difficulties out in the world that are physical situations going on, whatever, but the heart and mind is basically where we're going to come from through this week.
Come on, that's good. And you know, the word, the definition of the word overcome just simply means to succeed with a problem or a difficulty. I believe the Lord has already orchestrated our victory to overcome. And it's His will for us to overcome.
It is
Pastor.
His will, not only His will, but it is our destiny.
Come on.
He has already set it for us to be overcomers.
So how, kind of an overview for the week, how are some of the ways we're going to overcome?
Well, we're going to look at what you do with your mind. How do you control your thinking so that you're an overcomer? What do you do with your speech? Because out of the abundance of the heart speaks.
The mouth speaks.
We were going to look at how do we change the circumstance, or if you will, the atmosphere around
that's
us.
a good
Because you've got to overcome in your atmosphere, otherwise you're in a college. You said one time on a Sunday morning service, we cannot live in a constant state of war. There has to be a place of peace. And for the church, for the Christian, there is absolutely a place of peace that we can stay in. And really, God intends us to do that on 24/7. Our problem isn't that God hadn't supplied it. Our problem is we got to get into it and let God be the God that He has.
We got to get into it.
Into it.
That's incredible. You know, Jesus said in Matthew 11, verse 28, He said, "Come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and find rest for your soul."
Yes.
That's what He said. I do agree, you know, that we're not made to stay in the heat of the battle. You can't be there. No. I know people that seem to thrive there, seem to live there, but you're not made for difficulty or adversity. You know, recently I was watching a segment with Dave Reaver. And, you know, Dave Reaver, for you that don't know him, was a minister that back in the Vietnam War, a phosphorus grenade went off, like right here from his head, burnt him severely. Matter of fact, it's a miracle that he's even alive. And now today he's working with vets and such as that. And I heard him talk about the other day, I heard him sharing some of his story of how many veterans and how many people are dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder that are leading them to the place of even taking their lives. And being so because we are not meant to live in that place of constant war.
I'm glad you brought that up, because let's look at this. Right now with COVID and the shutdown and our kids. Kids were locked out of school early. They didn't get to finish last year. They're in all of these situations. We have learned and know that there is an onslaught against our children. There are suicides. There's an uptick in abuse and situations of abuse. We actually have a generation of young people who are looking at the possibility of a post-traumatic syndrome lifestyle. And all of this is going on unless we address it properly. Hopefully in this time through this week, we're going to touch the hearts even of our children So keep that in mind, and you might want to record and keep these segments and share them as well.
We're declaring to you right now, it is the will of the Lord for you to overcome. And not only overcome, but for you to stand victorious,
Yes.
and for you to stand in the peace and the goodness of the Lord. Hey, stay with us this week. I want you to push that share button right now, because I believe people's lives are going to be changed and they're going to see the victory of the Lord.
Absolutely.